Okay, so yes, so that was just the bit I was saying earlier on. When I looked yesterday, it was I had Alex's through, but I hadn't had many through yet. But not to worry. If you could just try and do it, you don't have to spend long on these preps. Just 25 minutes is absolutely fine. But then it would just be good just to be having something uploaded, even if you haven't got very far, just so I can actually see that you're participating a bit. So just to remind you of how to do it, because my other classes are getting in a right muddle. Okay, you will find that the work is already there waiting for you to upload to. So if you guys go on to homework, okay, there's already a page waiting for your homework. So obviously this is a little bit out of date. There's now going to be a page waiting for averages from frequency tables. So don't go and create new pages. Don't create new pages. Just go and click on the page and upload to the space. So say Alex was uploading his comparing data prep. He would click on homework, click on comparing data, and he would get onto this comparing data page, which I've already put there. Okay. Then what Alex does, if he's uploading a PDF or a Word document, you click on File. No, sorry, first of all, you've got to go and click on this yellow box. You've got to go and click on this yellow box, okay, at the bottom, which is underneath the homework. Click on that. Then if it's a PDF or Word, you click on File. Then you must click Insert File Printout, and then you can just insert what you've done. If you've actually just taken a photo of it, so you've got a JPEG, you just go and click on the picture option. Okay, so click and click. But as I said, I don't want any of you using the fact that you're struggling with Teams to be a reason that you're not being able to let me have your prep. If you can't see how to do it, it's not the end of the world. Just email it to me and I will upload it for you. Okay, so moving on to today's lesson. Okay, so we're going to be looking at averages, but we're going to be building from what we've done in the past. So this is just a really quick example of something that we've done in the past. So if you were going to be working out the mean average from a whole list of data here, to work out the mean, just to remind you, you would go and add up all of those numbers, and I just take it from me, that comes to 42. You would then divide it by the number of games that Manchester United had played, which is 20. So you'd say 42 divided by 20, and that would be giving you 2.1 goals per game. So we know that. To work out the mean average, you add up all the goals and divide by the number of matches. Now, the mode, remember the mode is what happens most frequently. So what did Manchester United do most often? Well, it was them scoring no goals, because that happened on 5 occasions. Okay, so the mode would be 0. And then the third one we're going to be looking at today, so we're not going to be doing median today, which was the middle one. We'll save that for third form. So the third statistic we'll be looking at today is the range. Now, if you remember, the range is not the average. The range is a measure of spread, so it's the biggest take away the littlest. So what was the most goals Manchester United ever scored in those 20 games? It's 8. What was the least number of goals? It was 0. So the range would be 8 take away 0, which is 8. Okay, so you should be fine. You should be familiar with how to work out the mean, which is the total number divided by the number of numbers, the mode, which is what happened most often, and the range, which is biggest take away smallest. Now, it's fine having a list of numbers when there aren't very many, say 20 matches. But say you were trying to work out the mean number of goals since Manchester United were created back in the 1880s, the list would be massive. And really, in real life, the list tends to be really big. So it's just not realistic to do a list. You're going to be needing to put all the information into a table. And this table is a frequency table. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so what I'm saying is we're still just going to use this same situation. Hudson, you shouldn't be requesting control. Don't mess around, please. All right. Right. So yes. So what the idea is, we're going to create a frequency table. We're going to create a frequency table, and then we're going to see how from the frequency table we could work out the mean, the mode, and the range. Okay, so that's our goal. So the first things first, let's go and create a frequency table, just so you understand what it is. So you don't have to be writing this down, I just want you watching this. So number of goals scored. So Manchester United might have scored no goals, or 1 goal, or 2 goals, or 3, or 4, or 8. Those are the only ones we've actually got to worry about. Those are the only numbers involved on this occasion. Now, how frequently, how often did they score 0 goals? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. How often did they score 1 goal? Well, they scored 1 goal 4 times. How often did they score 2 goals? Well, they scored 2 goals 3 times. 3 goals, they scored 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 goals happened 3 times, and 8 goals happened once. So a frequency table is just a way of summarizing what could be a very long list. Would be a very long list. So imagine this was a very long list, and some of these frequencies would be really big, okay? But the table itself would still be quite small, okay? So that's how a frequency table looks. Now, our goal and what your homework is going to be how to work out the mean, the mode, and the range if you didn't have a list, but you were just given a frequency table, okay? How would we work out this information from just a frequency table? So let's start off with the range. I'm sort of doing the easiest one first. We know that the range has got to be 8 because it's the biggest number of goals scored, take away the smallest number of goals scored. So if you've just got a table, to work out the range, you just go and look at the biggest number of goals scored, take away the smallest number of goals scored, and that's obviously just 8 take away 0, which is 8. Okay, so that's easy. That's the easiest one. That's why we've done that first. Now, the second one is working out the mode. What happened most often? What happened most frequently? So you look in the frequency column. Remember, this is how often they happened, and you pick the biggest number there because that's telling you that something happened the most times. So something happened 5 times. What happened 5 times? They scored 0 goals. So if you were just presented with a frequency table, to work out that the mode was 0, you just go and look for the biggest frequency and then go and read across how many goals was related to that. So they're the easy two. Now, what we're going to spend most of our time doing is the working out the mean, okay? This is the trickiest of the 3, and this is what all the homework's about. The homework only involves working out the mean, so you're going to have to really concentrate at this bit, please. So, how would we work out the mean? How do we work out the mean normally? Well, we just work out the total number of goals, and we divide by the number of games. So how do we work out the total number of goals, which was 42, if we just had a frequency table? Well, you've just got to understand what's going on. We're saying on 5 occasions, no goals were scored. So how many goals is that? Well, that's 5 lots of nothing, which is nothing. So we just cross multiply. You do 5 times nothing to get nothing. Now, the second row of our frequency tells us that on 4 occasions, 1 goal was scored. So how many goals is that in total? Well, that's 4 lots of 1, 4 times 1, which is 4. So there's 4 goals scored. Now, our third row, what's that telling us? On 3 occasions, 2 goals were scored. 3 lots of 2 goals is 6 goals, and so on. So we cross multiply. 4 times United scored 3 goals, that's 12 goals. 3 times they scored 4 goals, that's 12 goals. 1 time they scored 8 goals, that's 8 goals. So all these numbers over here are little batches of goals that they've scored. So how many goals have they scored in total? You've got to add up this column here, giving us our 42 goals. Okay, so to remember, to work out the mean, total number of goals divided by the number of games. So how did we work out the 42 goals? We did 5 times 0 is 0, 4 times 1 is 4, and so on. We added all of that up to get our 42 goals. Now, second part of working out the mean, we've got to divide by the 20 games. Divide by the 20 games. Now, how did we know there were 20 games? Now, often the question will tell you, Just read the first line of the question and it will tell you there were 20 games. But if it doesn't tell you, you've got to go back and work out the 20 games from your frequency table. And just be careful, okay? This is the games. 5 games, and 5 games they scored no goals. 4 games they scored 1 goal. So this is the number of games. This is how frequently they played. So this is the column you add up to work out the number of games played. Never add up that column. That's just garbage. That gives you nothing. Okay? So the frequency, the total number of games played, you add up this column, and that's your 20 games. Okay? So to work out the mean, we've got our 42 here, divided by the 20 here, giving us 2.1. Now, what I've gone and done, I've gone and run off a worksheet which was from Corbett Maths. It's on Show My Homework, okay? And what I've also done, I've ran off the answers. So I want you just spending 25 minutes or however long you want to spend on it, just doing some of the questions, okay? And I mean, you can run off the sheet itself and fill it in on the sheet, or you can just write your answers down onto a separate sheet of paper, whatever's easiest for you. But what I do want you doing, please, is marking your answers as you go, ticking your answers, and then only uploading it for me once you've ticked it. Okay, so I can see that you're getting it right. It doesn't matter if you haven't done very many of them, but I just want them done well so I can see that you understand it. There's no point you spending ages, because it takes a long time, I know it does, to upload stuff. Then at the end of the day, what you've uploaded is wrong. It's going to be frustrating for you and you're not really learning. So that's why I'm giving you the answers as well, okay? So you've got the questions and the answers on Show My Homework, and I think I've also posted it on the team's notes page, that first page. There's links to it there as well. So when this conference call finishes, I want you to go and spend 25 minutes or so, longer if you want, of course, just working through these. I just thought it would be useful just to do the first one, just to model the first one, so you can see how Corbett Maths set it out, okay? So this is the question, the first question that cropped up, okay? So what he's chosen to do, he's calling the number of sweets here, you know, that's like the number of goals scored. He's choosing to call that X. I don't mind if you don't have to do that. And the frequencies he's calling F, that's fine. But so don't overly worry about that labeling. And then this FX just means he's calling that F times X, which is FX. So what we're saying here, we've got some sweets. The table shows the number of sweets in 20 bags. We've got to calculate the mean, so we need to work out the total number of sweets. So one bag had 23 sweets. So he's done 23 times 1 to get 23. 4 bags had 24 sweets. So he's multiplied them together to get 96, and so on. So he's cross-multiplied over here, added all those up to say there are 503 sweets together. Now, this question told you there were 20 bags, so I didn't need to work it out. I could have just done 503 divided by 20, okay? But as I said, if the question doesn't tell you, you add up the frequencies to get the total number of bags, okay? So 503 over here, divided by 20 here, gave us 25.15 average number of sweets in a bag. And leave it as a decimal, that's absolutely fine, okay? So, just to conclude, Corbett Maths is where the questions and answers have come from. Whilst we've gone over mode, range, and mean, the mean's the trickier one to work out, so that's what we're concentrating on for our homework. I've given you the questions and the answers. 25 minutes is all the school's expectation is that you spend on it, because obviously you've just spent 10 minutes, 15 minutes listening to this already, and then it takes time to upload it and all that stuff, okay? But I'm really keen, please, that you're getting it right as you go. So please mark your answers before you upload it to me. Okay, guys, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. It was great that so many of you have done so. But what I'm really hoping is that a lot of you now can actually get round to uploading the work for me to have a look at and mark. If you can upload it the way I said, that would be great, because then I can literally just mark it on the screen and get back to you straight away. If you are really struggling to upload it on Teams, just like I was saying to Isabel at the beginning of the lesson, if you're struggling, just email it to me and I will go and pop it onto the appropriate page. Okay, right, right, so that's it from me. So I'm going to stop the recording. As you know, the recording will be uploaded onto YouTube and automatically onto Teams shortly. Okay, cheers guys.